Okay, so I had a comment the other day from Rene Renatus. A new Manjaro version with Mate desktop for the Raspberry Pi 4 is now available. It might be worth a test. And I replied, thanks, did you have a link? I haven't heard back yet, but while I was at work today, I did a search and it's just on the normal site for Manjaro. So if I search well, let's go to content. So I've done several videos. What have I done? About 10 on Manjaro, right back to October 2019. And it's always been decent, especially the Monka versions, which have come loaded with games and various other add-ons and things like that. And the last one was Monkajaro Beta, which worked on SSD. So let's go to the Manjaro site, because there's actually a few others in there as well. So if I go to Downloads, and we go to Editions, and ARM, and then Raspberry Pi 4, you can see that several come up. So I'll click on the page. So we've got, is that i3 or L3? i3, because it says i3 there. And this is a very sort of stripped down version. There's also KDE Plasma, which I think I've done before, although newer version, 20.12.1. Then there's the Mate version. That's the one he asked me to check out, so I'll check that out. But if we go down more, there's Minimal, and that definitely looks minimal. And there's also, this one looks interesting as well. So Sway, which lightweight tiling window manager Sway. This edition is supported by the Manjaro ARM team and comes with the Sway tiling window manager. But let's go back up to the Mate one. So let's have a read of that. Manjaro Mate on ARM is a modern looking DE that follows the GNOME 2 paradigm. For people who look for a traditional experience, this edition comes with Mate, a desktop environment that continues the legacy of traditional user experience while carefully improving and modernizing when needed. So let's click on that to download. I'm using Twister OS, which I usually do, so it's a 64-bit version. And then download. And where's the file at the top? Download here. We'll begin short. Oh, so it looks like it's going to auto start. Yeah, there we go. So I'm going to save it on the desktop with some of my other operating systems. So how big is it? It's just over a gig, it looks like. And I'm going to put it on my Kingston SSD drive. I've already got an SSD drive which Twister is running from, so I need to plug it in with another USB to SATA cable. Okay, so let's go to the desktop and we'll plug in that drive. And this has had Android on it. I've got Android on my Crucial drive as well, so I'm not abandoning Android yet, which I did in my yesterday's video. So this will get rid of all this. Now, sometimes when you've got loads of partitions, I find it's good to just wipe it off. And Raspberry Pi Imager is brilliant at wiping off SD cards, USB sticks, SSD drives, whatever. So if I go down to Erase, choose SD card, and hit Write, and yes. Doesn't take very long, and I just think it's a safer step. Might not be needed, but I've sometimes found that if I try and write to one with multiple partitions, it fails. So let's go to Use Custom. In my downloads, so this is the new one, 20.12.1. Hit Open. Choose SD card. It's the second one here, and hit Write, and yes. Okay, so that's all written, so let's hit continue and close all this down, and we'll shut down and we'll boot up from the Manjaro SSD. Okay, so it looks like it's picked it up, and let's go with those settings. Okay, so we have a bit of a problem in that the language is wrong, and this reminds me of when I had to go out to a customer's Sony TV years ago, an old CRT TV, and it was stuck in Arabic, and I had to go through the menus and phone up a colleague, and they went through the menu and I went through the menu, and we eventually sorted it out. But this is the future, and I can hold this up. So if I do detect language, there you go, so log in. So let's log in and see if we can get through it by changing it using the phone. Be interesting if we can. So what have we got up here? Aim at text, programs, places, system, lock screen. I love the way it goes all sketchy. Crikey. Lock screen, disable, end session, mate. So this one says system. So let's click on that. Parameters. Hardware appearance, internet and network. Manjaro settings manager, let's try that. Language packs. Accounts, right, so we're in there. Local settings. Double click. So what does that say? Display language formats. Ukrainian, right, okay, so I am in Ukrainian. So I'm going to do add. We're getting there. Not even anything that looks like the English. Oh yeah, English. Right, okay. So I think I'm probably there now. I probably don't even need the phone now. United Kingdom. And I'm sure that's the same setting, the GBUTF8. So I need to select that. I wonder if I can delete that one. Right, so which one is one of those? Delete, set as default, set as default. Oh, I suppose I could. So that, and then set as default display language. What else has it got? Set as standard language and display format. So then, yeah, maybe if I can remove this. We've got a remove option? No, but what do these do? Add, execute, restore. Oh, okay, looks like we can't delete it from there. But I think I've selected that, so one of these must be okay. Go out or apply. Put my password in. Now I probably need to restart. Now I know where I'm going. Reboot. And it looks like we're all right now because it says login. So let's log in. Yes, everything is right. Okay, so it's the next day and I've played around with it a little bit and updated it as well. And to update it on this, you use pacman as a command. So it is this one, sudo pacman -$SYYU. So we pop our password in. And you can see it keeps coming up with these notifications. It's done that a few times now. Now I don't know if you can, looks like that's the notification one. No, that's my Wi-Fi. This one? Yeah, mark all as red. There you go. So you can see that it's already updated. I also installed neofetch with this command, sudo pacman -s neofetch. And if I press return, you can see it comes up like this. So I'm not overclocked. This is my 8 gig Pi. And if you want to know information about the operating system, I've just started it up, Mate 20.12.1. And I've also installed Chromium as a browser and what else? Gnome disks as well, because I couldn't see Raspberry Pi Imager on there. There may be a way of installing it. I haven't had a long look at it, but let's go through the applications. So yeah, that's Gnome disks, which I've installed, but everything else was on there. Archive Manager, a simple GUI for installing, selecting and manipulating Phantom themes, Make Calculator, Font Viewer, Search Tool, Plumer, Screenshot, Education. We've got LibreOffice Math there, but actually under Office we've got all of these. So it's pretty much the full LibreOffice suite and a dictionary, Mate Dictionary, and also something for PDFs. So back up the graphics, LibreOffice Draw, Make Color Selection and View Noir. So Internet, this was as it was, but I've installed Chromium. Don't know what MN Tray is. I think that must be the notifications thing. Sound and Video, Audacious, MPV Media Player, Pulse Audio, SM Player and Sound. System. Something else is a browser. Kaja, that's the file manager, I think. HTOP, Mate Disk Image Mounter, terminals in there. So then we've got places, so these are all our locations. So Mate Search Tool, what happens with that then? What happens if I just start typing in Chromium? No, it doesn't do that. Oh, and you have to search a folder. Desktop file system. Oh, and I've got my 128 gig stick in there. Well, let's just see if... So I have to press return? probably return or find. Oh yeah, so that's searching my USB stick. Lots of BMX on there. So let's close that down. So that was places. Yeah, it's quite nice because it's a quick launch to all of these places. So if we do computer, generic storage, Kingdom file system, I guess the overclocking will be in here. Oh yeah, it is. Look. So boot, and it will be in here, I would imagine. I'm not going to overclock this, but just to show where it is. I didn't read the message then, did I? Unless I click that again. Do you want to run config or display its contents? Or just do display. Here we go. Yeah, so you'd be able to overclock in there, I'm sure. So that's in the standard location that you'd expect it to be. This is interesting because all this is in English, but, oh no, so have a look here. Look. So I think I must have done one of the settings wrong at the start. That's why the language is all messed up, because you can see here things like photos, music and downloads. Luckily they've got icons on them anyway, and the bin and video, but they seem to have stayed in Ukrainian. But everything else seems to be alright, because yeah, all of this is back in English. The file manager looks nice. I don't think it's not the same process for my NAS drive, or maybe it is. Go network. Yeah, normally my NAS drive would show up in there. Certainly on Raspberry Pi OS and Ubuntu and various other systems. So let's close that down. Let's go back up the system. So add remove software, and you can see there's some. Well, this is browse. So things like RetroArch that you can install in there. VLC, commonly used software. What I've got installed is an option there. Yeah, this is nicely presented. Certainly looks better than the Raspberry Pi OS add remove software system, but is it as compatible? Because the thing about Raspberry Pi OS and Twister OS is it pretty much supports everything on the Pi. It's the first one that people write software for, and that can be the only thing with trying out other operating systems, that not every bit of software works from a software manager. There's usually ways around it, but yeah, that looks nice. So back to system. So hardware we've got here. Let's see what we can't click on that. We have to click on an individual. Bluetooth, display, keyboard shortcuts, mouse. Yeah, it's nicely presented. Yeah, all of this is very straightforward, very easy to see, and I quite like the way they've done this with having these three separate sections. Control center, and that's nice as well. That's very much like my Mac in the way that it presents that. Administration, hardware, internet and network. Well, that doesn't seem to change a lot, does it? It just changes the header there, but it's working. Themes, there's several different themes on there. I quite like the theme as it is, the dark theme with the sort of green accents and thing. I like that, so I'm going to leave it as is. Yeah, very nice. So you can see these are already on the desktop. So obviously that's terminal, that's files, calculator, take a screenshot, and Firefox is the default web browser. Along the top here, I think that's Bluetooth, is it? Yeah, that's Bluetooth. So I could turn Bluetooth on. Let's try my speaker.
Battery 80%.
Let's try this way of doing it, just devices. Right click and connect.
Connected to P.
Okay, that's a short name. So that's worked. We've got sound control here. Oh, and it tells me the Bose speaker. That. So if I hover over that, this was the notifications. System is up to date. Wired connection. I generally use a wired connection, it's just easier. And then power down there as well. This is a show desktop, which I think is quite a nice thing to have on all the time. So if I start opening stuff up, so let's do the file manager as well, and let's do terminal. So I've got three things here. So if I click on that, it shows the desktop, but you can see they're all at the bottom here. So I can go straight back into them. Yeah, I like that. Here you go, here's the Ukrainian writing, but it just seems to be on these things. So you could possibly rename that? Oh yeah, I could. Okay, I mean, if you set it up properly, you won't have that issue anyway, but you can see that that's working fine, and I've just named that video, so I'm happy with that. Now I haven't looked at printers, so if I go in that control center, was there a printer in there? My printer is a HP wireless printer, and quite a lot of operating systems see it now. So let's start typing printer. No. Can't see it in there. I would have expected it to be in here as well. And I usually do these are all first looks, so these aren't me going in depth on an operating system. It's just to have a look. If you like the look of it, download it and try it yourself. People will add comments and say where things are anyway. That's generally how it works. So let's try the web browser. So we'll try Firefox first. Did I click on it? I don't think I clicked on it. Or we might end up with two here. Let's close these down. Oh, we have got two here. Look. So YouTube. Let's go full screen. And so I haven't played around with any of these settings here. You can see it's blocking things at the moment. Do my normal search, LPSV video HDR, and play this clip. So you can hear the sound is working fine. It started playing nicely. I'm moving the mouse around and it's not affecting the video, which sometimes happens on Raspberry Pi. So that's 720. Let's go full screen. Not bad. A little bit of tearing, but not bad. I'm guessing 1080 is probably not going to be great, but we'll give it a try while we're here. We have the option of 4K. Bit laggy there. Let's pop this on. So it was dropping at the start, and it is dropping a little bit now, but the video playback doesn't look too bad at 1080. That's not bad actually, I'm happy with that. And let's try Chromium as well. See if that runs as well. Again, haven't done anything to it, literally just installed it, and I installed it from the package manager that I showed earlier on. So let's do this way around. HDR. So I've turned off the audio because I know that works. Let's go straight up to 1080 and go full screen. Ooh, slow down a bit. I'll give it a second just to sort itself out, and we'll do stats for nerds. But it looks like it's dropping a lot. We need some of the scenes where there's a bit more movement in it to tell. It's not, yeah, so it was at the start, but it's not. See, it's stayed on 128 for quite a while there. To be fair, not too bad. Right, so not as good as FidoOS, so the Chromium OS, but that was one of the best YouTube performances I've seen on the Pi. Let's do a normal web search on, let's go back to Firefox, as it was the one that was installed as standard. Hot UK deals, and let's launch that, and let's go for BBC. Go back to Hot UK deals. Scrolling's reasonable with the trackpad, and BBC. Let's open up BBC Sport. Yeah, it's loading the images in there. Yeah, not bad at all. So it comes sort of out the box, ready to go, really. So overall, I think looks pretty decent. So thanks very much to Renee Ratters for letting me know about this one. I could look at some of the other versions and see how they run, or if you've tried them, let me know. Also, let me know in the comments if you had an issue with the language or if it was just me. I think it was just me going through the settings a bit fast. Anyway, I hope all this helps. Thanks very much for watching. Please like and subscribe.